But in here is Eric, owner, bladesmith / operator of Ash Blaeds. Good to see you.
Tracy, thanks for having me back.
Okay, so settle that for us. Should any knife, regardless if it's a high-end custom knife or your jack of all trades you got at an end cap at a big box store, should those go in a dishwasher or what?
I recommend no.
Okay.
Probably one of the fastest ways to dole out an edge is to chuck it in a dishwasher with other things that are going to get clattering around in there. Aside from that, depending on how the materials are constructed, how the handle's put together, you could warp a wooden handle to the point where it's no longer usable. You have to get it replaced. So I just always recommend after you use them, wash them, dry them, put them away.
Okay. Now we were discussing those big blocks people love to shop for. People love to have sitting on their countertop.
That's right.
Am I right in saying that some of the names for knives aren't perhaps necessarily assurance of quality anymore? I mean, there were some, but now they come out almost like designers come out with sort of lesser brands, but still put their name on it.
Sure. I mean, like anything, in order to make something affordable, there's something that gets compromised, and sometimes that's the steel, sometimes that's the geometry, sometimes just overall performance of the knife is going to go down in order to make something more affordable. So a name certainly isn't an automatic designator of quality necessarily.
Okay. Well, quality equals comfort, and comfort equals efficiency, and it also probably equals a safer environment to cook in, right?
Certainly. The sharper your knife, the better the geometry. Both of those things, the more comfortable the knife fits in your hand, both of those things lead to more efficient processing of the produce that you're using, which makes it safer automatically.
And we can probably do most of the jobs in the kitchen with a few knives, right?
Without a doubt. A chef knife really is going to do about 90% of the work in the kitchen. There are only a few small tasks that require a paring knife that a chef knife can't do.
But there's something, I almost want to say nostalgic about a paring knife.
Yeah.
I remember being in both my grandma's kitchens.
Same.
And it was almost like an extension of their hand.
They keep it wrapped up in their apron. Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
And the pull-out thing. So if people were thinking, you know, we're talking about ridding ourselves of clutter and things like that, and things that spark joy, a good knife could definitely spark some joy. So what do you think people need in their knife? Well, do they need a knife drawer? Is that a problem too? How should we store our knives?
Yeah, knife drawers are also a great way to dole out your knives because all of the spines of different knives are clanging against each other. Your best way, the way that we do it, is just a magnetic strip. If you can put it up on your wall or you can get one to sit on the countertop, that'll keep them sharper for longer.
Well, and if you're investing in this sort of quality, these are works of art. You want these hanging on the wall too.
There's something to be said about the aesthetic quality of, especially if you come out to the shop and you customize a knife and it means something to you, really means something to you, having it on display. Sure.
Walk me through a little bit of what we're seeing here. These the handles themselves are stunning.
Thank you. So we do have some chef knives, and like you said, not everyone needs every knife.
Right.
So for some people, an 11-inch chef knife is just way too big. It's really out of the realm of what they're comfortable with. And
that's more for some of the, like I mentioned, some of the chefs that utilize your tools in. I mean, this is their livelihood. This is their passion.
Absolutely. Honestly, probably the knife that I sell the most to home cooks is something like a petite chef, like this, about a 6 or 7 inch blade, or something called a petty. So a petty in particular bridges the gap between a full-size chef knife and a paring knife, where it'll do a lot of the things that a paring knife can do and almost all of the things that a big chef knife can do. So if you can really only get one knife, something like a smaller chef knife or a petty is a really good way to go.
Okay. What is one, and I know I don't want to have you sitting here dissing an industry, but is there a knife that's in the block that is like, you're never going to use that. What is that thing? I would think like the fillet knife. How often am I going to fillet something?
Sure. A fillet knife is something that a lot of people don't use. A boning knife also can be replaced with a petty in a lot of circumstances for the kind of stuff that people do at home. But also the kind of serrated utility knife I find to be really unnecessary. A good sharp petty can do everything that's on this board right now could be handled by this 6 or 7 inch blade without any doubt.
Well, I also think serrations get just as dull as anything else, and then you end up abusing the food that you're just trying to get nice cuts on, right?
Yeah. So a petty like this is what I call a chicken soup knife. So this is the knife that, without a doubt, will handle the couple of ribs of celery that you have to get ready to throw in the pot. It'll break down, the pepper. It'll break down the onion. It will easily handle the carrot.
Yeah.
And it's definitely thin enough, sharp enough, but also stout enough to butcher up your chicken.
Okay.
And all of those things together can easily go in the pot without you having to dirty multiple knives to do it.
Whack your garlic clove if you want to do that.
Oh,
sort
absolutely.
Of thing. Yeah.
It will, I mean, it will cut razor thin pieces of anything that you need it to cut, without a doubt.
I remember the famous knife that was advertised on late night TV where like, slice a tomato so thin your in-laws will never come back. And you can actually do that with a blade like yours. If someone's interested in a blade like that, wants to learn more, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, you can head to the website, you can head to my social media, Instagram, Facebook, check it out there. And I do have a fairly open door policy at my shop, which is just my garage, full disclosure. But people come out all the time to look, to see the process, to look over materials. You were talking about over there. Well, what would you do if you could cut with a knife? Well, if you come out to my shop, you can cut with a knife. You can pick up one of these knives if you're interested in buying it and try it. And if it suits your needs, then grab that one. If it doesn't, then let's customize something that makes more sense for you.
Awesome. AshBlades.com. We'll put the link on IndieStyle.tv. See, Amber, we can go to his shop and test drive the knife.
Ah, that's right. But I like how you can personalize that, right?
Yeah.
Make something your own. And speaking of doing just that, make this my own. Perhaps a local handbag designer has a new line coming out inspired by the Day of Love. Coming up, how her brand got started and why local artists may want to contact her as well. We're back right after this.